Hello, welcome back to the Founders Disco. I'm your host, Shuj, and we're here with Morgan Bignell, founder of Beyond Exercise Physiology. Morgan is an exercise physiologist and a breathwork teacher. Hello, Morgan. How are you?
Hello, I'm really well. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Tell us a bit about yourself and your company.
Sure. Firstly, this is my first ever podcast, so thanks for having me. I'm a little bit nervous. It's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Yeah, so I started Beyond just over a year ago. I'm based in Cairns, up in North Queensland. So, yeah, I run my exercise physiology services here as well as some breathwork classes. But yeah, main purpose is sort of combining movement and stress management in a modern way. I guess that's sort of, yeah, what I'm aiming to do with Beyond.
Cool. Amazing. And when did the idea to start your own business start coming around?
I think the idea to have my own business has probably been around as long as I've been born. I think if you met me as a kid, you would not be surprised that I'd have my own business. I was very bossy, very studious to be in charge. So it's always been something that I've kind of figured I would do at some point. But yeah, I guess the kick as to, or the idea, I guess, to have my own business in this space came about from working in the healthcare industry, and I kind of felt like the services weren't necessarily comprehensive enough to be able to provide long-term meaningful change for people. Obviously, as an exercise physiologist, as an EP, I value movement as medicine, but yeah, that stress piece wasn't addressed, I didn't think, and I felt like that was a real gap because it's so relevant to pain and injury and health conditions and weight loss and all of that stuff. So yeah, I had the idea that, okay, maybe there's a gap here that I can fill.
I'm similar. If you met me in school, I was doing all sorts of funny stuff. I used to get in trouble too. From little things like money lending to I got in a bit of strife for that one. But in terms of like you got to have money to lend money, right? And I used to rent DVDs, so I'd bootleg DVDs and rent them out,
That's
and then,
genius.
it was a whole thing.
Oh yeah, that would have taken
Yeah,
off in
yeah, we
school.
had quite the racket going on. There were commissions and this and that. It was a whole referral
Whole
systems,
pyramid
like
scheme.
unbelievable, unbelievable.
I love that.
Yeah, so I feel you on that. And so in terms of, so you identified that gap, which is awesome. That's, usually as the books say, the first step to a sustainable business. What was the trigger point where you were like, "Hey, this is actually important enough for me to jump in and you know put it on the line?"
Yeah. So yeah, obviously I had the long-term desire to have my own business. I'd identified the gap, and then the push kind of came about for a few main reasons, I guess. I had actually just recently quit my corporate occupational rehab job at the time. I became really sick actually from prolonged stress, ironically enough. So I had the personal drive there as well at that point, the personal experience of how much stress can impact your health. I was kind of like, okay, what are my options with returning to work? I didn't want to go back to full-time exercise physiology because they give you 30 to 40 hours face to face with people, which is just a lot energetically, and I don't feel like you can provide as much value when you're booked 8 hours a day with people. Didn't want to go back to the office space. So I was sort of not sure what the next move was. But I think at the end of the day, I just really wanted that creative freedom over my work. I knew I could deliver that gap really, really well. And I wanted to do that on my own terms and pick my own hours and pick my own values and my uniforms and all of that stuff. So yeah, that kind of is how the push to start Beyond came about. I started small, started gradually, and just built from there.
Yeah, amazing. And you guys have your own clinic and stuff.
I actually rent a space from another clinic in
Yeah.
town. So I operate it out of there, which made the starting process really seamless because I guess that's the benefit about service industry, healthcare industry businesses is there isn't that many startup costs, especially if you can get a space from someone else. So that made it, yeah, really easy to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, fantastic. Because even with sort of the less, let's use the term medical. I don't mean that in a bad, like, physios, OTs, that kind of thing, one of the barriers to entry, I guess, of having your own clinic is the licensing, right? And
Hmm.
the permits and the forms and council and huge fees that come with it, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So skipping some of that, I guess, would have been very beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And if you were to sort of sum up, what problem you're trying to solve and for who?
Sure. So I guess there's a couple of main problems. Exercise physiologists work with a lot of different people, but the main problems Beyond seeks to solve, number one, is that kind of providing stress management and exercise therapy in one place under one roof, which I find is really beneficial, especially for people with chronic pain, chronic health stuff. Stress has such a massive impact on those things, and there isn't necessarily someone you'd go to just for stress management. So they're able to kind of get both with my services. And I think the other one is kind of, I wanted to be able to provide truly personalized service. Because, as I've kind of touched on, working full time as an EP for someone else, they will just fill you back to back to back to back with clients. And as much as exercise physiology is meant to be personalized, because of how busy you are, you kind of have to get a little bit cookie cutter with your services and kind of just give out the same stuff because you don't necessarily have the time to get really deep with each person and provide a really, really in-depth personalized service. So for me, I cut my clients off at a certain number each week so that I know I can provide a really in-depth personal service. And whether that's for people with chronic pain, it might just be talking and doing breathing exercises, and they get really massive results from that. For others, it's the education piece. For some, it's desk ergonomics, or nervous system regulation, or whatever that might look like. I think providing that stress management, but also being able to like really personalize the programs to each person is sort of what I seek to solve.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you have other people that work with you? Is it just you, or do you run a
It's
team?
just me right now. Yeah, hopefully I will be bringing on others in the future. But for now, it's just me, and I'm probably getting to my capacity of just me. So yeah, that's definitely something I'll look to for the future.
Amazing. Good problem to have, right?
It is. I'm
Yeah,
grateful
yeah.
for it.
And I guess if your business or your vision was fully established tomorrow, what would that look like? What kind of impact would it have?
Oh, that's really fun. Okay, so I guess if everything I've dreamt up for Beyond was in place tomorrow, it would probably look like, a fuller team, so that I can offload the stuff that I'm not good at and just grow the stuff that I know that I'm killer at. Potentially an app as well. The most time consuming part of my business is when I provide people with a home exercise program. Actually developing that in a boring old Word document is so time consuming. So if I had an app that I could give out programs for, or even do assessments for people that they could do through the app, I think that would be really, really cool.
Hmm.
I'd love obviously my own gym space as well. But I think in terms of the impact that would make, I think people pairing movement and stress management seamlessly together, even in a gym class that they might come to, providing a space where they don't have to choose between a recovery day and an exercise day. They could do both in one. I think that would be really, really, I think that would be beneficial for a lot of people with busy lives and chronic pain and niggles and all of that sort of stuff.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. That's a great vision. I have a few, I guess, ideas on that. I've worked in not this space directly, but there's potential. I don't know if they exist in Cairns specifically, but some of those bigger box gyms, right? Like the Derrimut 24/7s and those huge,
Hmm. Yeah, chain.
they can have clinics in them.
I know
Uh,
some of them have exercise physiologists working
yeah,
in them, and
yeah.
some of them are starting to bring on different classes and stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm not
Mm.
sure whether they're employed or whether that's a similar bootstrap to you, where you're leasing a
Contractors
space
or
and you
renting,
you
yeah.
sort of get access. I'm not sure, right?
Hmm.
But there's potential there for even a partnership. It doesn't necessarily have
Yeah.
to be a big box. If you guys have one of those like locally operated warehouse gyms,
Hmm.
to block off, a decent sized clinic for you and integrate exercise with pain management, with, all of those. There's heaps of scope there.
Yeah.
And then you don't actually have the burden of operating a gym. Like there,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
if you what you want to do, like a gym it's a whole different beast.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. I feel like half your time then would be gym management as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah,
actually
like
working with
picking up
clients.
people's weights because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool. And in terms of an app, like you're absolutely right. I was actually going to suggest it initially when you were talking about how you were running out of time. With seeing in person, a great way to offload that for certain people is to spread out the appointments and put more agency on them. Like,
Hmm.
in a positive way, right? You're empowering
Yeah,
them to look after
totally.
themselves so they don't need to, be hurting. And like, yeah, happy to help with that. That's what we do. We're app
Oh,
developers. So,
my God.
yeah, yeah, we've done a few medical based apps, a bunch of gym apps. We're
Cool.
well versed in that space. So,
Awesome.
yeah, let me know at some point if you
Okay,
want to have a chat about it.
I will.
But yeah, that's a really cool vision. Yeah, and I guess how long have you been going for?
Only about a year, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, cool. So pretty new. Awesome. So I guess in a year, right? You've only, I guess, been exposed to so much to get from where you are to pretty close to fully booked all the time. Pretty close, or you're there? I feel like you're
Pretty
there.
close. Yeah, it
Right.
varies week to week as well.
Sure. But yeah, because you mentioned you were cutting off a few people here and there, so you know, capacity for one person, right? Which is
Yeah.
amazing in a year.
Yeah.
What are some of the frustrations you've been through?
Oh man. Okay. The first one that comes to mind is I think when I decided to start my own business, I thought that I would have more spare time than if I was working full time for someone else. Super naive. I don't know why I ever thought that would be the case. I guess it could be if you structured it that way. I think I'm a little too perfectionist to be able to do that, something I'm working on. So definitely that. I didn't, yeah, I underestimated how busy and also just the mental load of having your own business and thinking about it constantly. I can only imagine what parenthood is like if it's a million times harder, I'm sure, than having a
Try
business.
both.
Okay, yeah, which is
Two
harder.
kids and a business, yeah. Um,
Having both's ridiculous.
it,
Good on
it
you.
it's got its challenges, but it's a
Oh
lot of
man.
fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the other challenge is that I was actually really surprised by the lack of willingness from or networks I had in the industry to actually help and provide advice and provide assistance. Maybe again, it's that sort of no one having enough time to be able to do that for someone else for free. But yeah, I was really surprised by that. I did have a few people later on down the track who were so generous with their time and their knowledge, and it like changed the game for me. So I have a bit of a deal with myself now that anyone that asks me for help, I'll make time as much as I can to assist. But yeah, I think they were two of the main frustrations so far.
Yeah, if you ever need to chat about that stuff, hit me up. Yeah, all the time in the world for people who are doing stuff for themselves.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Those are interesting, I guess perspectives and you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's not just
And
me.
yeah, yeah, because the thing, like, it depends what kind of business, right? Some people do digital stuff where it's a combination of I don't have enough, but I'm sitting here anyway, stressing about it, so I might as well try and do something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally. There's always something you can do.
right? And then there's your style where it's more brick and mortar. So, you have direct actions you can take that will lead to people booking. And that's cool to fill your calendar, but there's literally everything else, right? And all of a sudden you're like, man, that $50 an hour I was getting paid, like, I see where it's all going, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's very, very interesting. In terms of if we drill into that a little bit more, right? So I guess why did you expect to have more time?
I think I expected that I could just set my hours, work within those hours, charge a higher hourly rate than what I was getting at a part-time job, and then that be that. And if I wanted one week to have a little bit more time, cool, close my calendar. I think that's what I was imagining it to be. But yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. I just could never have comprehended how much work it takes and yeah, how much extra stuff there is and how much even responsibility I feel to my clients as well. I don't want to take a day off because I want to provide the service to them. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's interesting. And you did mention being a perfectionist a little bit, and I guess is there some sort of fear or apprehension in letting some of that control go and letting someone else treat your patients or new patients under your brand?
Totally. Yeah. How do people do that? I don't know. I don't know how people give up the control and like trust others to be as
Takes a
passionate
lot of
about
time.
what they're doing.
Takes a lot
Yeah.
of time.
Oh
So
man.
early on, there was myself. Eventually, I got a VA,
Yeah.
and they're fantastic. I couldn't live without them now, right? But it takes a lot of time and a decent amount of energy and frustrations of their own, mind you. And it's not necessarily frustrations at the dynamic, but it's just like it's very internal, right? But slowly, the idea is you teach people how to become their best version of one component of yourself. Does
Oh,
that
that's a
make
cool way to
sense?
put it.
So instead of expecting someone to do everything that you do and then getting annoyed because they're not, or the standard isn't there, or whatever, one function, one expert. That's what you want to create, right? And yes, the time outlay initially,
Yeah.
you know, however, long term, you've essentially made a more capable version of that part of what you're doing that's operating for, you know, however long a day,
Yeah.
doing that one function incredibly well.
Yeah.
So you've effectively bought yourself back, I don't know, whatever it is, 60% of your time in some cases, or 20%, whatever. And then what are you doing with that time,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be seeing patients.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense. But there are other components of business, of life, of whatever it is that you can then apply that time to. Yeah, like now we have a team of 10. Can you
Wow.
imagine the amount of like fracturing of ourselves we have done as founders? And again, letting that go, you know?
Totally. Yeah. That's what it is,
Um,
isn't it? Because there's definitely parts that I'm not good at that I'm sure would be better off in someone else's hands. And it's just finding,
yeah,
or I guess, investing that initial time investment. Yeah.
100%. And again, let me know because I have people that I can connect you with
I need a
and,
VA. That's what I need.
guide you on. Yeah, so I can
Sweet.
definitely make a connection there.
Okay.
And literally what you're doing is buying time, you
That's
know?
right, isn't it? Yeah.
And what you do with that time justifies the ROI on the spend, you know? And again, that ROI doesn't have to be dollars. It could be a holiday. It could be
Yeah.
your weekend of not sitting in front of your computer catching up on admin. It could there's
Yep.
many things that could look like, and you won't know until you start actively making that change, you know? There's a
Definitely.
lot
Yeah.
more up here than there is actually the action of in doing it.
Yeah.
In terms of some of those things though, would you say like where would you describe your current sticking point? Team tech, time, something else, you know?
Yeah, probably time. I wish I had a more interesting answer for you. I'm sure everyone probably says it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who doesn't want more
time
time, right?
and knowing, I guess, at what point can I bring on other people? Because there's no line in the sand, right? There's no like, cool, when I have this many weekly clients or whatever it is, then I
Hmm.
can start doing this. So, yeah, juggling that. I think the other thing is so my partner and I are actually doing a lap of Australia next year in a van that we're currently building as well. So the sticking point will be, yeah, figuring out how do I take the signature parts of my in-person business, which I think is my ability to connect and personalize my services. How do I take that to the online space now that I'll be traveling around and yeah, we'll be
When
moving.
are you doing this?
I think we're going to take off around end of Jan, start of Feb, depending on when we get the van build done.
Timeline to get your entire business wrapped up, no?
I know, I won't be taking it online then. I'll be taking a little bit of a holiday and then seeing what that
No, you
looks like.
can. There's nothing stopping you. It's just a matter of how, right? Logistics. Yeah, awesome adventure though. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it'll
I
be
love
worth it.
that. I travel a fair bit
Cool.
with the family, and sometimes on my own.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
my wife travels, and yeah, we love getting about. And one of those, I guess, core components, right, that you're probably looking for in the business is the agency to be able to do those things, right?
Yeah, totally.
In terms of that readiness point, right? If you don't mind me asking, are you're a structured company, you're an employee slash
I'm
director,
like a,
sole trader, right?
yeah.
Okay. So that is fine. That actually makes your admin a little easier right now. But
Yeah.
how I tend to look at things is if your business or slash your company, right, was to make no money for the next 6 months, you probably can afford to hire somebody, right?
Yeah.
Typically, 3 months is a pretty happy risk roadmap, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
1 to 2 months is very aggressive.
Right.
That's very aggressive levels of risk. Some people do it, and some people can do it really, really well and grow exponentially, which is amazing. But if you run that calculation, right, and you're like, listen, if I made nothing, I'm good for 6 months, that's a little conservative,
Sure.
you know? That's like really hoarding. You're losing on opportunity cost, etc. And really, you're just putting yourself through more of the stuff that you don't like currently about your
Yeah. I love
situation,
that.
and why, you know. So just something to consider at some
Yeah,
point.
I like that.
I'll
Good
run that
framework.
number. I'm sure Christmas might get a little quiet in your time to do some of those exercises, and then you can, approach January with a different outlook, right? Okay, I'm not seeing patients for the next, what, traveling around Australia, that's 6 months if you go pretty quickly, right? So you're not taking any in-person patients.
No.
How can you still, one, serve the people who are coming to you currently and provide them with enough value that they'll actually pay you? That's tricky too, right? And how are you going to pull it off, you know? Like, again, if you need, I'll get you an app ready by January. That's not a problem.
Jeez, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, yeah, we're good. We
Wow.
just turned one out. Actually, we're about to launch it. They signed the contracts on Friday, and we did our
Really?
first demo yesterday. We're doing our touch-ups tomorrow, Wednesday, and then we're looking at submitting to the app stores this week.
Oh my God, I think I
So
had in my head like 6 to 12 months for an app development. Wow,
that's
that's
what
crazy.
most app developers do. They
Yeah,
suck.
okay. So
We're
that's
just
your
really
point of
good.
difference. That's
we,
awesome.
we have our systems and we have our processes and stuff in place, such that we can get to market very quickly, but also very
Cool.
affordably. Like
Okay, cool.
so I'm in Mount Gambier. I don't know if you know where that is, but you'll probably
No.
pass through here
Okay.
on your lap. So I'm smack bang between Melbourne and Adelaide.
Ah, sweet.
So yeah, yeah. If I'm still around, I don't want to announce it on recording, but yeah,
Sure.
there's some life changes possibly happening very
Okay,
soon.
sure.
And until that's confirmed, I don't want to, scare anyone that might be listening. But yeah, if I'm around, swing by, grab some
That'd be
dinner, have a
awesome.
shower, whatever, meet the kids and the animals.
Have a shower. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well,
Hot
van
town.
life. I've
No.
traveled before. I have
Okay, you get it.
a caravan.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, nice.
and yeah, yeah, it's not as economic, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've done a camper van from here to
Oh, geez. Okay, that's a fair trek.
which was a fair trip. That was about 2 and a bit weeks.
Oh,
But we
yeah.
were real slow, you know.
Yeah,
It
cool.
wasn't a speedy trip. It was like, let's enjoy the time.
Mm.
And that's probably the longest vacay sort of adventure I've gone on. But I've also driven from Alice Springs to close to the SAWANT border,
Oh,
around
yeah.
that area in the lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do community work out there
Okay.
a couple times a year. So,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, I do a lot of like Australia driving.
Yeah.
Scary, but sick.
I know, I was gonna say that's the scariest zone for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you break down, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, get
for
a sat
sure.
phone, keep that thing charged at all times,
Yeah.
pay whatever it costs. It doesn't matter. Just get
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Other little things, Starlink, you can work.
Mm.
Like, I don't lose
Yeah.
income because I want to go on holiday. Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
We'll figure it out, I'm
yeah,
sure, one way or another.
that's it. But anyway, the point I'm making, small town, we service like a Pilates studio. She's got, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe not even 100 members. I think probably active members less than 50.
Okay.
So, we can cater for pretty much anybody. Like,
Okay,
you don't have to
awesome.
be a gajillionaire to have an app.
Sweet.
You just need to find the right people.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. So, anyway, let me know.
No, that's great.
Um,
No, thank you.
yeah, but I think those things are actually like super achievable for you in the time that you want. You just have to,
Hmm.
you know, calculate a little bit, calculate a
Yeah.
little bit, have those discussions with your patients, etc. And prime them because otherwise you're like, hey guys, I'm leaving in Jan for 6 months. Like, what are the odds they're gonna sign up for whatever?
I
You know
know.
what I
I've had
mean?
those conversations. It's tricky.
Have you ever worked with any agencies or developers before?
No, I haven't. That's, yeah, not something I've done before.
Right. Who's done your website? Did you build it?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
She's pretty basic.
Got to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
You
Yeah.
got to start somewhere. And if you had unlimited time or money, what would already be done in your business?
Okay. It's a good question. I think, as I said before, I'd have someone who has experience with the Australian healthcare system specifically, so that I don't have to mostly so that I don't have to deal with Medicare and DVA and all of those annoying things. Someone to do the financial stuff too. That's not something that I enjoy. Yeah, and probably the app aspect too. That's something that I haven't been able to find the exact right one. So if I had unlimited time or money, potentially I would have made my own or been able to find something suitable for the home programs or virtual movement assessments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. It's been a random time to start a business, knowing that I was going to be here for a year or so and then be off traveling. But I think it was still worth it with how much that I've learnt in this time. And I'll be able to restart it whenever I need to.
The skills you've gained and the thought processes you've applied and stuff like that, they mean
Yeah,
something,
I think
no?
so. Yeah. And
Regardless
just knowing
of
like,
what
sorry,
the
go.
outcome is after or during your travel, you can't like no one can take that away from you, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally. Just even knowing what's worth investing in and what isn't, because I've already trial and errored all of that. So if I get to the point where I have an app or I have a gym, all of those things will have already been tested in a really low risk time and space. So I feel like when there is those higher risks, I'll be able to hit the ground running.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Are you a bit of a tinkerer? You like to play with things that are let's say if you had a gym, will are you the person who's structuring it out and picking the equipment and that kind of thing?
Oh, hell yeah. That's all me, 100%.
You'd be a really good fit for us.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk more about that later. What's the next thing you're working towards? I guess keeping in mind the travel coming up and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so the travel is definitely what's impacting what I'm going to be working towards next. Obviously, yeah, taking those services to an online space, whatever that looks like, in whatever way best serves the people, but also me.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, what else was I going to say then? I think as well, I've touched on a little bit about my perfectionism, workaholism. So a personal milestone is kind of being able to let that go, as I know the business is going to look different and I'm not always going to have the same access to work and to internet and all of those kinds of things. And I want to enjoy the trip as well and not be stressing about work. So personally, I think that's the big milestone that I want to be able to achieve in the next year and know that I've found that balance, practiced what I preach, you know?
Yeah, amazing. There are frameworks for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We have some rules, I guess, in general. Like, I spend 2 days a week, one with each of my boys, just
Mm,
one-on-one time, right?
sure.
Wife gets home at 5, with the other son, picks him up from daycare or whatever. Family time, obviously, dinner, bath, chaos. And then I get to work. Right?
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's cool, those
You know what
boundaries.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
And then I have my 3 weekdays where I hit the tools. That's my sort of 9 till whenever I'm done.
Mm,
And then weekends is family focus, right?
mm,
I do work here and there, but if I need to duck out to the office an hour or two, done.
yeah.
Otherwise, we have kids, we have hobbies, we play sport. Me and my wife, we play baseball together. That time's super important, right?
Mm,
When we're 60, we're not going to be looking back and thinking, man, that business I grew, you know, 40 years ago, what a time. We're not thinking that. We're thinking about, remember that time our son jumped off the table and smacked his face on the couch? How funny was that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
so yeah, like it is balanced, but at the same time, it's sort of like integrating all of the things that you love, and being super effective in the time that you have allocated to those things.
Mm, yeah.
Like I just spent today with my oldest son. He's almost 4. He wasn't feeling the best. He's got some stuff going on inside of him, I guess. Whatever 4-year-olds go through. But woke up, had some breakfast, hit the gym. We got out for lunch after gym. Caught up with some of his friends, whatever. Came home, played with toys, went out. That time was his, and he
Mm,
loves it. I love it. It's great. But then 7 p.m. hits, he goes to bed. All right, now's my time to,
right. Yeah.
like, let's go.
Mm,
So having those allocations and really being engaged with whatever that is, that's going to make a bigger difference than like trying to fake some work-life balance nonsense. Because you don't shut off at 5.
no,
You don't.
definitely
It's
not.
not a thing in this, for people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with some of this stuff that you have in mind, are there something, you might be looking on partnering on or funding externally or whatever that may look like?
Yeah, I'm pretty open to what it looks like next, I guess. I think for now I've just been focusing on serving my clients in the best way possible and probably only in the last few months has it gotten to that point where it's been like, okay, I feel like I'm solid now and I can start to look at different avenues, offloading things and whatever that might be. So yeah, in terms of I guess the next few steps, I'm totally open to what that looks like and how that comes about. Yeah, and I think for me it'll be kind of as we've discussed is being able to hand over the reins a little bit.
Amazing. And what kind of support do you think would accelerate those things most?
I think again is offloading parts of the business to share that load, and then I have more time and space to make connections, make relationships, and look at the next steps and whatever that might be. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Awesome. Lightning round.
Okay.
Quick fire. What's the best piece of advice you've received when trying to build something new?
Okay. I'm going to try and make this quick for you. It's not the quickest of stories.
All right.
When I was starting to think about starting Beyond, I was at this 30th birthday party, met a random guy. He had his own electrician business, and yeah, we were just late night, many drinks in, randomly talking about business plans as you do. And his advice was, "Are you great at what you do?" And I said, "Yep." And he said, "All right, well, if you're great at what you do and that's the foundation of your business, especially in a small town, the work will follow." And it was such simple advice. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but I think it sort of formed the foundation of my values and my focuses. And he was right. It took a little bit of time, but I just committed to being really good at what I did. And those referrals came in gradually and now a little bit more rapidly.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. That's dope. Especially brick and mortar, small town, right? Not that Cairns is particularly tiny, but you know,
Yeah.
there's enough people there for you to serve consistently.
Yeah.
Cycle through, like everyone has their life cycle, right? So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Good advice from an electrician.
I know. It was great.
You
Perfect.
wouldn't expect that from an electrician. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Any advice that you would give to someone who's starting out with something new?
In the service industry, I think, as we talked about, the startup investment's relatively low. So I think just start, you know what I mean? Even if you already have a job, taking a couple clients a week, start small, start slow, get feedback, adjust, and then gradually grow. I think that's the benefit of being able to start at something new in this type of industry, where those startup costs are so low. And other than that, I think for me, like having those really clear values at the start made my decision making so easy, because I knew that I just wanted to provide really good person-focused, personalized services. At the time when I started it, I didn't really care about growing. I didn't really care about money. That wasn't my focus. It might be in the future, who knows? But just meant that, yeah, when I was faced with a decision, I knew those values and that would help me to make decisions, and then just let it go, not ruminate, not lose sleep, because I knew that the decisions I was making were supporting those values that I picked at the start.
Amazing. Hell yeah. And where can people find out more about you and the work that you do?
Pretty much Instagram, I guess, is the main place that I'll be, posting updates about online services, programs, ebooks, events, all of that stuff. So that is at Beyond Wellbeing Co. And then I have post a lot on TikTok as well. That's more about my personal journey, breathwork stuff, the van build, if that's of interest to you. So that is at Science of Her on TikTok.
Amazing. Well, I'll link those everywhere that we post.
Sweet.
I make that sound really fancy. It's
I
YouTube
know.
and Spotify.
How good.
Secret.
Always wanted to hear someone say that about me.
Amazing. Thank you, Morgan. This has been fantastic. You've been a great guest. You did really well for your first time on camera, I suppose.
It was, yeah. Thank you
yeah.
so much. You're a great interviewer.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody. You know where to find Morgan. We'll leave all our links down below, and we'll catch you in the next one.